Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here today with Toonami's ratings from this past Saturday, October 2nd, 2021. Let's start at the top of the block. At the top of the block, we have Fena Pirate Princess at a .10, My Hero Academia at a .08, Yashahime at a .06, The Food Wars at a .07, Black Clover at a .07, Naruto Shippuden at a .07, Dr. Stone at a .06, and Dragon Ball Super at a .05. So this week was an improvement. Well, technically it was an improvement because, well, there really was no way to go but up from last week's very dismal ratings. And ultimately here, what we see is maybe we're trying to establish something of a ceiling. Maybe we're climbing up a bit in the wake of the post-Family Guy era on Adult Swim on Toonami. And we're just really in a feel out process here still because this is only the second week, so we don't really have an established range of where we expect the ratings to be now. So again, and Fana going up a tiny bit to .10 is a good sign to see. But then after that, it kind of doesn't get better. Like My Hero Academia didn't budge. Yashahime is a disappointment. Food Wars stayed the same. Black Clover went up a little bit, but Black Clover is gone after next week. Shippuden went up a little bit. Dr. Stone went up a little bit, and even Super went up a little bit. So the back end of the block did a little bit better than last week, but the middle really kind of is holding everything back still, especially Yashahime. That's the thing. Yashahime got built out by Food Wars, by Black Clover, by Naruto, and maybe Dr. Stone. We don't have exact with what Showbuzz Daily claims to be what shows to be reruns. We aren't going to get exact comparisons on, but we know that at the very least, three quote unquote premieres beat out Yashahime, and that's just really ugly to see. And again, another big news is that this is the penultimate week of Black Clover and Toonami. The final two episodes will be airing this Saturday at 2 and 2:30 a.m. And this is basically and probably forever goodbye to Black Clover and the Block. It's ending because they've stopped adapting it in Japan, so we're not getting any more episodes. It's kind of similar to something like Hunter x Hunter, where, well, Hunter x Hunter really technically didn't end where it ended, but that's where they stopped the anime adaptation because Togarashi is slow as hell adapting it. And for Black Clover, I think they just wanted to move on to the next thing to make. Maybe like Hunter x Hunter will have like a new Black Clover remake a decade from now because the Hunter x Hunter we got on Toonami, the 2011 version was, well, at least for up until where they adapted it last time, a remake of the 1999 version, which a lot of people kind of forgot existed. But and the only difference I think between the 1999 version and the 2011 version is the Chimera Ant arc and the Zodiac election arc. The Chairman election arc, I mean, as the only differences. And it'd be interesting to see. But Black Clover is actually being made at a more snapping pace. So at least the last I checked, it was. It's not gonna be like the whole thing where we might get a couple chapters in a year or something like that. So maybe one day we'll get Black Clover adapted again. Will we see it adapted on Toonami? Personally, I doubt it. But again, next week will be basically goodbye for as far as we're aware with Black Clover on the block. And we don't know where we stand with like rerun rights with because usually for a long running show like this, they don't maintain the rights to air the entire show. But I think for Dragon Ball Super, maybe Dragon Ball Super, there's a specific. I think yeah, Dragon Ball Super they only own like the second half of Dragon Ball Super. I think the first half of Dragon Ball Super they can't air anymore or something like that. So they have to start at like the same point each time when they do a rerun, like halfway through. And again, that's just interesting to see. And again, next couple weeks are gonna be a bit of a time of change because I mentioned Black Clover last for next week, and also 2 weeks later, 2 weeks from now, so October 16th, we're gonna have a special week where we will have Fena air at midnight. But then starting from 12:30 for the rest of the night, it will be two Batman movies, part of DC Fandom, which is an online event that for the second straight year, Toonami will be preempted for Batman movies due to this. And note last year when they did it, the ratings were actually pretty good with the Batman movies, so it'll be interesting to see if they're good again this year. And maybe that ends up encouraging Toonami to put more DC or at least more like American action animation content on the block, which really has generally been lacking over the past so many years of Toonami, especially the Adult Swim iteration. It'd be interesting to see if maybe that pushes them towards that, especially considering that right now we're kind of struggling for air here, considering Fena isn't. Well, Fena is at least winning over like My Hero Academia ratings. It's not getting built on. That's one thing you can say about Fena. It has not been built on yet. That's a good thing for that show. But again, I don't think it ended up being the type of smash hit that Toonami, that Adult Swim, that Crunchyroll kind of hoped or at least dreamed it would be. And again, Yashahime really in particular is looking like a sore thumb because I watched the first episode and I really wasn't that like turned on by it. I was like, this show kind of it felt like the type of show that on a good day it would be trying to rehash Inuyasha, and on a bad day it would go into OC territory. And I've stopped watching it, but I've been told by people who keep watching it that yeah, it's kind of bad. So it's like, yeah. And I think we're like only halfway through Yashima. I think we still have got like 10 episodes left to deal with here. I think it's supposed to end sometime around the end of 2021 on Toonami. So we'll see. And we're probably going to have Yashahime ultimately end up being the last non-rerun on the block. So it will probably get pushed up next to the 3 o'clock hour. It'll probably end up being the 2:30 hour when we get the new schedule out on October 23rd with likely a new announced show, which I'm starting to really hedge my bets on. We are getting Assassination Classroom Season 2. That's what I'm predicting, especially considering the amount of anime, especially shonen-based anime, kind of was limited this year, at least definitely in terms of the non-sequels. And since we've aired just about any sequel we could have this year from shows that have already been on Toonami, well, Yashahime kind of technically counts because Inuyasha, and also you have Doctor Stone season 2. You had Food Wars season 3. It's not a new season to this year, but still, it's a continuation. And also you had, of course, The Promised Neverland season 2. We're never getting Mob season 2, by the way, so don't keep your hopes up for that. But what do you guys think? What do you think the next show is going to be to replace Black Clover on Toonami? Are you excited for the Batman movies coming up in a couple weeks? Leave your comments, leave your pins down below. I'm Super Orange Cat, and that is all.